about prospecting. That is looking for people who are looking for the business, paying attention to the people around us wherever we are, writing down new names to your list so that you can increase your list. And we also spoke about inviting people to have a look at the business. So today I want to share with you one skill that is important for our business, and it's called presenting the business. It's important for us to be able to present the business to new prospects or distributors. So, we need to know how to present the business to our prospects, but also to the prospects of our distributors. And why is that important? I read something that Eric Warren wrote in his book, that whoever holds the pen makes the most money. And from my experience, the better you become at presenting, the faster you are at doing the presentation, the faster your business will grow, because now you depend on yourself to be able to show the business to new people. A few things I want to mention about presenting the business. One is the importance of simplicity. It doesn't matter what works, it matters what duplicates. That simply means everything that you're doing in your business, can the people in your team do what you do? If they cannot do it, maybe you need to think again about what you do in your business. So it doesn't matter what works, it matters what duplicates. Second thing, enthusiasm. It's very important to be enthusiastic about our business. I recall when Betty and I started the business, we used to travel quite a bit, and one time we traveled from here to Lesotho to do a presentation. We did a presentation and finished, and one of our friends joined the business, and he said, you know, Pascal, I didn't join the business because I understood what you said. I joined the business because you are excited. So enthusiasm goes a long way to help us grow the business. Then develop belief and faith. Belief simply means that you can do it. Faith means that if others can do it, so can you. So develop the belief in your business. And then learning how to invite prospects. Something else about presenting the business that is very important. Presenting the business, you can do it in many ways. One, you can do it one-on-one presentation. That means you meet a prospect and you talk face-to-face, one-to-one. Or you can do a 2-to-1 presentation. That means one of your team members is with you and you're showing the business to a prospect. This is mostly either it's your upline who is experienced, or you're doing it for your downline and because you're more experienced. Then you have a group presentation where somebody experienced is presenting the business to a big number of people. It could be 5, it could be 6, it could be 60, it could be 100. Another way to present the business is to send them a presentation on video format. That's another way to present the business. That is taking advantage of the system to use tools. A few things to remember when you're presenting the business. Remember, you are not the message, you are the messenger. It simply means your job is to transfer information to the prospect. You are the messenger, not the message. That means use third-party tools, use somebody experienced to show the business on your behalf, CDs, videos, magazines, leaflets. These are the messages that you need to pass to your prospects. Second thing, learn to tell your story in a compelling way that makes your prospects want to hear more. Why is that important? Because the prospects should come to the conclusion that if Pascal can do this thing, I also can do it. If Jane was in the position I was when they started the business, and I'm also in that position, I can also do the business. I think on Monday we had a fantastic testimony from Mr. Muhumuza, a wealthy member Muhumuza from Uganda. And he showed his photo when he was a student. And his photo now, it's a remarkable transformation. If a prospect sees that, they say, if Mr. Muhumuza can succeed, so can I. So it's very important that you learn to tell your story that is very compelling. And then learn to do the standard neo-life presentation and prepare and practice. I think the reason why Charlie Bolton's business grew very, very quickly and very fast is that when we started the business, we used to have speaker training. And we would present the business in exactly the same format, no changes. The numbers were the same, the figures were the same, even the jokes that we used to have for presentations were the same. So learn to do the neo-life presentation as closely as possible to what your leaders present. This increases your chances of your business growing. Why? Because now duplication begins to occur. Now, how to present your business? What are the key 4 areas of a business presentation that you need to look at? If you're a guest or if you're a distributor, next time there's a presentation either by Zoom or by a speaker standing on a board drawing charts, pay attention to the structure and the format of the presentation. The first part of the presentation is always the ID. What does that mean? ID is your identification, telling your story. The reason why you tell your story is so that you can connect emotionally to your prospects. That is very important. So learn to identify yourself. What is your name? What were you doing before you joined the business? How did you come to join the business? What happens when you join the business? What have you benefited, either in products or in the income that you've earned from the business? And then call to action. Call to action simply means you invite people to do what you're doing yourself, and explaining how the future looks like. That is your ID. So that's the first part of the presentation. The next part of the presentation is develop the need and the neo-life difference. What is the neo-life difference? High quality product, high quality consumable products, longevity, experience, and world-class infrastructure, compensation plan, the support, the research, the back office, the training. All these are things or the neo-life differences that we have in our business. The need is, why do people need to join the business? Why is it very risky to depend on a job all the time? Because one day your employer will come, because of what has happened in the USA about the new administration cutting down funding for US aid around the world. A lot of people who are depending on jobs from US aid have lost their jobs. So if you have a job, it's a risky thing because anything can change. Then self-employment, why is it risky? It's good because you can earn money, but it's risky because the business tends to depend on you. If you're not there physically, nothing happens. Third, big business. Fourth, investments. You're developing the need of the person who is listening to the presentation, and it should lead them to the conclusion that I need this business. That is how you develop the need. The third part of the presentation is the logic. What does that mean? How the business works. The 3 things we do to grow our business, the 3 success habits. 1, using the products. Everybody needs to use the product in this business. 2, sharing the business and the product. It simply means you introduce other people to be users and promoters of the products. And then the third part is the personal development. This is part of the daily activity that each distributor needs to get involved in to grow their business. That is what the logic is. That is how people generate income, building a network of people who use and promote the products. That is what the logic of the business is. And then the last part of the presentation is call to action. Call to action simply means you need to invite the prospect to make a decision. Going back to the person who invited them, telling them what is required to succeed. They need to have a dream. They need to be patient. They need to have courage and guts. They need to be teachable. Those are the things that calls them to action to make a decision to start the business. So these are the 4 parts, the structured part of a business opportunity presentations. I would recommend to all of you, get a copy of the presentation, then practice, even if you practice alone at home. I remember when Betty and I started, the first presentation I did at the back of an old calendar, and I explained the business. She didn't understand the thing. She said, if I was a prospect, I wouldn't join the business. I didn't understand what you said. But I kept practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing. The key to excellence, practice. You have to practice to do the presentation. Once you've shown the prospect the business, the next thing is to follow up. Why is follow-up very important? Because very few people make a decision on the spot. Most prospects, you have to follow up a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 6 months, 2 years. Some you can follow up to 10 years. So do not cancel anybody out. Do not just say, okay, this guy is not into that. Just tell them, okay, maybe the business, this is not the right time for you, but can I call you in 3 months? Can I call you in a month's time? Can I call you in 6 months' time? And write the date on your diary so that when the date comes, you give them a call. All right? So what is the goal of the follow-up? The goal of our business is to educate the prospects on what our business is. It is not to convince them. In fact, you will convince people by what you say rather than trying to force them to agree with what you're saying. If you are convinced and convicted about the business, your prospects will sense. They will know. So the goal is to educate and give information to the prospects. 2, you need to act as a consultant. What do I mean by that? You need to act as a consultant by, I would say, training the prospects to see the business, training the prospects to see the value of the business. Don't act as a salesperson. Act as a consultant by asking questions. In fact, that takes me to number 3. The most important thing you can do in our business is to ask the right questions to reveal the thinking of the prospect. Ask the right question. For example, if you are speaking with John and John wants to join the business, ask a question like, John, what level of income would it make it worthwhile for you to look at the business or to join the business? Then they will tell you. Next question. Let me say, John said, if I can earn an extra $1,000 a month, I would be happy. Next question. John, to earn $1,000 a month in this business, how much time are you willing to put per week to build it? You see, you're asking those questions so that the prospect is the one who has to respond with their idea, not yours. If a prospect says that I want to put 1 hour per week to earn $1,000, then you tell them politely, well, I don't think that will be possible because it takes a bit of more time than 1 hour per week to build a business so that you earn $1,000 a month. Okay? The next thing is, remember, people don't say yes immediately. The average person needs 4 to 6 exposures before they join. Some even 10 exposures before they join. Why? Because people are not trained to make decisions quickly. So have a very simple system of following up. If John is in your list, you show them the business. The first time you speak to them, just put there, spoken to him the first time. Then tell John, can we speak next week around this time? Or can we speak in 2 days' time for me to give you time to think about the information you've seen or you've had? Then you call them the next time. So remember, exposures 4 to 6 times is the average period. Then the other thing is handling objections. You will come across so many types of objections. One, I don't have time, or I don't have enough money, or Is this a pyramid scheme? Or I've seen so and so who started the business and never succeeded. All these things, you will always hear them. There's nothing new under the sun. Objections can be divided only to two issues. One is a limiting belief in themselves. The prospects does not believe that they can actually become successful. That's the first one. The second one, limiting belief in network marketing as a profession. And I think most of the reason is they don't understand it. This business is simple, but because it's simple, it doesn't mean a lot of people understand it. People are used to it. In fact, I find it very funny that here in South Africa, there are some people who are asked to go and look for 100,000 rand, 200,000 rand to put in an investment, and the money disappeared. People are willing to look for a lot of money to join something which will not give them income. But if you tell them in this business you need $50, $60 to start a global business, they don't see the potential of the business. So the objections can be split into two. One, limiting beliefs. Two, limiting beliefs in the industry. The first one, limiting beliefs in themselves as people, and the limiting beliefs in the industry. A very important thing about prospects is this: don't argue with your prospect. Affirm their concerns. For example, a prospect tells you, oh, this is a pyramid scheme. Instead of saying, no, this is not a pyramid scheme, maybe you need to ask them, what do you understand by a pyramid scheme? Then they will explain to you what they think a pyramid scheme is. And then you correct them and say, I think that is not really what our business is. In our business, we actually move products from the company to different consumers. And in any case, a pyramid scheme is illegal. Our business has been operating since 1958. If it was illegal, it should have been shut down a long time ago. Okay, so do not argue with the prospect, listen to them and address their concerns. Then the last thing I would like to share with you is people skills. Last week, we addressed some issues that are important when dealing with people. One is that you need to be genuinely concerned about people. Two, do not criticize people easily. If you keep criticizing people easily, people will avoid you. Today, I want to speak about 3 skills that you need to develop if you want to win friends and influence people. The first one, you need to be genuinely interested in people. Do not be interesting, be interested. It simply means you need to be interested in what people are thinking, saying, or doing. That means you are interested in the person. And the best way to do that is to ask questions. What do you do? Do you have a family? What is your dream? What do you like to do? You ask not close-end questions, but open-ended. A question that requires explanation. For example, when you ask a question, do you want to be rich? That question is the person will answer yes or no. If you ask somebody, what do you do? It means they have to go through an explanation. Oh, I'm a salesperson. Oh, I run a business. Okay? So learn to ask the right question. Be interested in people, not interesting. Because remember, the best topic in anybody's life is themselves. So be genuinely interested in people. The next thing is smile. This is so simple. In fact, tomorrow I would recommend to all of you, if you leave the house, you're walking in the streets or in the town, just look at a stranger and smile at them and see what happens. If you smile at somebody, they're likely to smile back at you and be curious to find out why you are smiling at them. Smiling is very disarming. It's very important for our business. Remember, people are looking for something exciting they want to join. So smiling is very easy, but we need to do it consciously. Very simple thing, smiling. At our church, there's an elderly lady who, the first time we met, she asked me, how are you? And I replied to her, oh, I'm better than good and better than most. And she burst out laughing. Every time she sees me, she actually expecting that greeting, better than good and better than most. And she is so fascinated by it. Why? I don't know. Maybe she doesn't hear that very often. So I suggest that you learn how to smile in your home, in the streets, when you meet people. In fact, when you smile, you'll find that you'll attract more people to yourself than if you frown. And the third thing is remember people's names. This was a challenge for me for a very long time, remembering people's names. A very simple way to remember people's name is to repeat it immediately you're introduced. For example, I meet Jen Anyona, and I say, oh, my name is Pascal. What's your name? They tell me, oh, my name is Jen Anyona. The next sentence, use their name in a conversation. By the way, Jen, what do you do? Then they'll say, oh, I do a such and such. I'm running a business. And Jen, where do you come from? You see, when you use their name 3, 4, or 5 or 6 times in the first meeting, their name is likely to stick in your mind. The next thing you need to do to remember people's name is link their name with something which is very simple. Okay? For example, Peter. You meet somebody called Peter, or you meet somebody called, let's say Peter. Then you link Peter with something that is very easy to remember. For example, Peter was one of the apostles of Jesus. So think about Jesus, think about Peter. So use reference pegs to try and remember people's names, because the most important, the sweetest thing about that comes to their ear is their name. So 3 things to build good friendship. 1, be genuinely interested in people, not interesting. Interested in people. 2, smile. And number 3, remember people's names. The more you remember people's name, the easier conversation is going to be, the more friendly they will act towards you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you very much for spending the last 1 hour with Betty and myself. I hope that what we've shared with you will help you grow your business to the next level. We are just approaching the middle of March, so keep up the good work that all of you are doing in the field. Very many people are looking for this New Life message in the products or in the business opportunity. Thank you and good night.